What's going on, guys? How you doing? I saw this. I was scrolling and saw this. Neil Young returns to Spotify after Amazon and Apple pick up Joe Rogan's podcast. And I was just like, this guy. Quote, my decision comes as music services Apple and Amazon have started serving the same disinformation podcast features I opposed at Spotify. Good job. So let's get to the actual article, which I have not read yet. I only saw that headline and I was just like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. You gotta be kidding me. So first of all, you guys remember Pono? Do you remember that music player that he did a whole crowdfunding thing? I knew guys that actually sent money for that to get this, like, this is gonna sound better than the MP3. It's gonna be the new revolution of music listening and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna be the best quality, right? And like, where is it? Where is it, right? Everybody fails at things, okay, fine, and tries things. Like, you have to try things and fail in order to not fail, right? Of course. So, like, okay, fine, but I'm just like, this guy's taking people's money, and then where's the product? Like, crowdfunding style. I'm like, did you get your money back, guys? No? Fuck, that's messed up. That's kind of messed up. Okay, Neil Young returns to Spotify after Amazon and Apple pick up Joe Rogan's podcast. Neil Young's music will soon be returning to Spotify now that the Joe Rogan Experience will no longer be exclusive to the platform, but he doesn't exactly seem overjoyed about it. You have the choice, dude. Like, you have the choice. You chose to take your music off. Like, what's the problem? Spotify users have been unable to access Young's catalog since January 2022 when he removed his music to protest the platform's inaction over Rogan's controversial podcast, which he says spread misinformation about COVID-19 vaccines. I mean, according to you, right? According to you. Back then, the Joe Rogan Experience was a Spotify exclusive. They can have Rogan or Young, not both. Young said in an open letter at the time, adding that Rogan's podcast was potentially causing death to those who believed the disinformation being spread by them. Good job. Young later hit out at the sound quality on the streaming service, asking in November 2022, why would I keep it on there when it sounds like a pixelated movie? I mean, it's really not that bad. And also, nobody knows the freaking difference. Come on, man. That's how people listen to music now. It's just what it is. It's either there or on, like, YouTube. And you got some people on here that are on, like, Pandora and other weird things, like other services. Whatever, Apple Music, right? Now the Joe Rogan Experience is no longer a Spotify exclusive and it has been picked up by Apple and Amazon. Young wrote in a post on his website yesterday, March 12th, Spotify, the #1 streaming of low-res music in the world. Spotify, where you get less quality than we made, will now be home of my music again. My decision comes as music services Apple and Amazon have started serving the same disinformation podcast features as I opposed at Spotify. I cannot just leave Apple and Amazon like I did with Spotify because my music would have very little streaming outlet to music lovers at all. I mean, you could own it. You can have your own Pono service or whatever, you know, or you could have been making this bread. Because, I mean, with a catalog like his, he would be making money. Unless he doesn't, I don't know, maybe it's because he doesn't own his masters. Masters is like 80% of the royalties. Sorry. If you sign that all away. So I have returned to Spotify in sincere hopes that Spotify sound quality will improve and people will be able to hear and feel all the music as we made it. Quobuz and Tidal, where my music is presented, are all high res as well. Yeah, I've never even heard of Quobuz. I've heard of Tidal, obviously, but you have to go where the people are. Where are the people? Just in numbers, right? They're on Spotify. They just are. He concluded, hopefully Spotify will turn to high-res as the answer and sever all the music to everyone. Spotify, you can do it. Really be #1 in all ways. You have the music and the listeners. Start with a limited high-res tier and build from there. Neil Young's music isn't yet back on Spotify at the time of writing, but it'll likely appear in the coming days. Yeah, I just think this is like, old man, get off my lawn. You know, crotchety, just like, what are you, like, I can't. It's even hard for me to even think about what to say about this because I'm just like, dude, not that I'm like some massive Neil Young fan, right? He's got good songs or whatever, right? He does. I don't like hate the music like that, but it's like, yeah, he's got a ton of albums. I mean, you know, he's a prolific songwriter, really. And to just not have your music on the biggest streaming platform, the thing to me is just that, like, He's writing songs like "Let's Impeach the President" and other. He's highly political, right? And okay, like that may have always been his thing, and that's fine. But even with that, like you have choices, and it just feels like you're just getting, like, why are you making this choice now? Why can't, like, if you really felt like how you feel, why wouldn't you take your music off of those other things? Like, why wouldn't you? It just feels like there's no backbone. That's basically what I'm saying. It's like, why? Why? You're just going on there just because, oh, well, now, I don't like Rogan and, it's disinformation or whatever. And he moved from California to Texas and, now he's a Trumper and, whatever your thing is. First of all, he's allowed to do all of those things. Canadian. Sorry. It was a low blow. My Canadian fans. Sorry. My Canadian fans that have been with me since the Rush discography. You guys know how much crap I give to Canadians, but also that I like so much of their music. So find another American that's into that is listening to as much the Tragically Hip as I have. Maybe there are some, but anyways, I met a Canadian down here recently, an older Canadian. I brought up I've been getting into their music or whatever. And I said the Tragically Hip, their music being Canada's music. and I said Tragically Hip. And he's like, oh, wow, that's a band I haven't heard of in a long time. Wow, okay, yeah, wow, you know them? I'm like, yeah, yeah, I do. Okay, and then a lot of people talk about the whole Spotify, their payout sucks and this, that, and the other thing, right? Their payout's terrible. So here you go. Here's what it is. I don't know when this is from. When is this from? Pandora is the worst. Spotify, Amazon Music, Deezer, YouTube Music, Apple Music, and Tidal. Tidal's the best. Apple Music is also very good. The thing that I think about the whole payout thing, especially if your music is like, you're like a legacy artist like Neil Young, you're going to be getting hella paid because you have so many songs that are going to have millions. I mean, look at Queen's discography. They have songs that have billions, okay? And if you don't own your masters, like, okay, right? Masters is like a mega chunk of what the payout is compared to the songwriting and publishing, all that kind of credit. So to own your masters, this is where independent artists have a leg up because they own their masters. And if they hit it big, like artists right now, like artists that are really big right now and they're on YouTube and TikTok and all that stuff is like Nick D and Connor Price, right? They're huge right now. And you see what they're saying about it. They're just making tons of money just on streaming. It's like, listen, this is what the game is. If you don't like it, don't play. But this is what it is. They're giving you this platform. Play by the rules or don't play at all. And that's kind of what I'm saying is that, like, he has a choice. His choice was, well, I'm not playing. I don't like this about your platform. I'm not playing. Cool, you got a right to go and do that. This whole, like, it's that whole thing where it's like all the musicians that just bitch about the Spotify, about the payout. They bitch and complain, but yet they aren't doing stuff. They aren't doing more stuff. Just make content. Make stuff, right? You like to make stuff. Don't worry about the money. If what you make is good, right? It'll come. Cut out the complaining and the worrying and all that stuff. Just cut it out. Just cut it out and just get to work. That's all I'm saying. And for someone like Neil Young who has put in the work, right? I'm not trying to like fully dog on the guy, right? Who has put in the work. He could put out his catalog on Spotify and just be raking it in, right? Just raking it in. Depending on what he owns of what he's done. He'll at least get songwriting and publishing. And it'll still be a decent amount just because it's Neil Young. But anyways, I just thought, just sometimes the politics stuff, like, it just like no spine. I'm like, what happened? Anyways, that's that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I'll catch you later.